If you've ever dealt with a severe fungal infection, you know the physical toll of the itch. It is constant, it ruins your sleep, and it leaves behind angry red patches across your skin. That physical misery usually triggers a cycle of treatment fatigue. You head to the pharmacy, buy whatever cream is recommended, get a few days of relief, and then weeks later, the infection returns, and you are right back to buying yet another tube. Looking at the pharmacy shelf only makes it more confusing. On one side, you have a baseline generic cream costing about 14 rupees. On the other side, a premium tube running up to 160 rupees. The dilemma is obvious. Do you need the expensive stuff to get rid of the itch? Or are you paying for a premium solution when a 14 rupee cream could solve it? To completely eradicate the infection, you have to do two things at the same time. You must match the chemical generation of your medicine to the specific severity of your strain, while simultaneously destroying the microenvironment where the fungus breeds. If you skip the behavioral and hygiene steps, the strongest medication on the market will fail to provide a lasting cure. The price gap between various tubes is actually a hierarchy of chemical generations, a ranking of how recently the active ingredient was developed to combat resistant strains. This matrix breaks down the escalation ladder. Look at the bottom row. This is your first-generation baseline option, clotrimazole. It carries a low-cost and standard efficacy rating. At 14 rupees, this tier is cost-effective, perfectly suited for a mild fungal infection. The trade-off here is raw potency. If fighting a deeply stubborn, mutated strain that survived previous treatments, a first-generation cream lacks the firepower. To escalate, we move to the mid-tier generation, ketoconazole. Brands like Ketofo offer broader coverage against tougher fungi, jumping in price to 90 rupees. At the top row, we reach the latest generation, luliconazole. This premium option costs roughly 10 times the baseline, around 160 rupees. That premium price buys highly specific engineering. Creams like Lulafresh are formulated to combat those resistant, chronic fungal networks that previous generations often leave behind. Now, regardless of the chemical you apply to the skin, severe infections still trigger a disruptive symptom, an intense, sleep-ruining itch. To handle that, doctors may recommend adding a 15 rupee cetirizine tablet, like Ococet, to your routine right before bed. But be clear on what this pill does. Cetirizine will not cure your fungus. It strictly suppresses your body's allergic itch response to stop you from damaging your skin through scratching while you sleep. Scaling up your chemical firepower can match the infection's strength, but those medications are still only addressing the surface symptoms. To win, you have to address the root cause of why the fungus is thriving. That brings us to your physical environment. Fungi require a very specific breeding ground to survive on your body. Their primary catalyst is dampness. When heavy sweat fails to evaporate and sits trapped against your skin inside tight, synthetic fibers, fungal spores multiply rapidly. Therefore, the first environmental rule is mandatory. You must transition entirely to loose-fitting 100% cotton clothing to allow for constant airflow. The second rule applies the moment you step out of the shower. You must ensure absolutely zero moisture is left in any skin folds or areas prone to sweating before you get dressed. Next, you have to address the household risk. If you live with family members, cross-contamination is nearly guaranteed without precautions. This visualization shows why. A standard shared bath soap acts as a transmission vehicle, transferring fungal spores directly from the infected individual to everyone else in the house. To stop that transmission, the infected person must use an isolated, specifically medicated antifungal soap that no one else touches. Beyond external hygiene, you have to look at your internal defense mechanism, the body's baseline immunity. Fungal infections are opportunistic. They wait for a dip in your immune system to spread across the skin. Supporting that defense with vitamin D helps the body naturally suppress the infection from the inside, making the skin inhospitable for spores to take root. Choosing to ignore these environmental rules means the infection will simply return the moment you stop applying the medication, effectively wasting whatever you spent on premium creams. This flowchart combines pharmaceutical options and lifestyle rules into a single action plan. You start here by assessing your current severity. If you have a budget-conscious or mild case, follow the path to track A. For this group, start with the cheapest option, There is no reason to spend premium prices on a basic infection that a simple 14 rupee tube of clotrimazole can eliminate. However, if you are dealing with a severe or chronic case, you move to track B. Chronic sufferers must bypass the cheaper options, paying the higher upfront cost for the latest generation luliconazole and pairing it with a nighttime cetirizine tablet is more efficient than repeatedly buying ineffective tubes that failed to clear the strain. Notice how both of these treatment tracks converge right here into the exact same universal lifestyle protocol. Do not purchase any cream, regardless of the cost, if you intend to wear wet synthetic clothing or share soap. The medicine cannot overcome a breeding ground. Permanent eradication is possible. But it only happens when the precision of your chosen medicine is matched by an uncompromising discipline in your daily hygiene.